the rest of it will to his comments. They did hold elections today for the officers of the council and for their executive board. And I was elected as the treasurer for the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council. So I will be fulfilling this role as president here or chair here and as the treasurer for the parent board. So happy to do that. So that was the exciting thing off of that.
El Dorado County Fire Safe Council.
Yes. One of the things that they did have and hand out was Mosquito Fire Safe Council, and I'll pass this around for everybody to look at, put together with their Title III funds this document called the Wildfire Preparedness Book. And in it is links and QR codes to other organizations and discussions on Code Red. They also have fire weather warnings and watches and what they all mean. It's really a cool book that they have put together. And I think it's something maybe we want to think about what we might do with something like this for Auckland Fair Play. So I will hand it about. I'll start that way. And please take a look at it and give it some thought. We can talk about it more in a future meeting, but it really is a cool document that I don't know how much they spend of their Title III money to put it out, but it might be something worthwhile to think about. At the fire safe, at the El Dorado County Fire Safety Council, they put together some new policy regarding GIS mapping. In the past, anybody has been able to go to the county and request maps, Fire Safe Council maps. Multiple people from Fire Safe Councils have been able to go direct to the county and ask for maps. And it's become a little bit untenable for the poor GIS person at El Dorado County, who now is dealing with 27 different Fire Safe Councils. So the parent council has named a contact for GIS mapping to go through Steve Willis. Here they will come to me and I will send them to Steve so that we can make sure we're not duplicating any maps.
The other thing is John Hess was able to get a lot of maps.
Yes,
it's not
well,
happening.
it's not happening anymore.
That he can't go to, okay.
No, it will come to me and I will approve it to go to Steve so that we can make sure that we're not just asking for maps to ask for maps.
Sorry.
So that is the new policy through the El Dorado County Fire Safe Board. They did talk today, Sergeant Bear from El Dorado County Fire Safe Council, and I don't see that he is on tonight, did talk about the county's migration to Rave, which is the new software that they're using, which is going to replace Code Red. They're going to call it the El Dorado Emergency Alerts. They're in the process of migrating. All of the Code Red information will migrate into this, hopefully seamlessly. So they're still taking signups into Code Red, knowing that they're all going to migrate to this new system, which is sponsored by the state and other counties. So they're hoping that it has a lot more flexibility and usability. They can use it for some different things. So
Does that have a name?
El Dorado County Emergency Alerts, but they haven't publicized it yet.
Okay.
They used Code Red the past
Yes, they did.
yesterday
Last night.
as a missing child.
Yes.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah,
Every form of communication went out, didn't it?
exactly, yeah.
And the last thing that I have to report on behalf of Auckland Fair Play is that we were renewed for our annual renewal as the Fire Safe Council within the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council. So we are a member in good standing with the parent organization. They have everything they need from us to be good stewards of their time and attention. So with that, that is the end of what I have for the chair's report. Ed, vice chair's report.
Are we going to be I didn't look this over really good. Are we gonna be talking about the elections?
I have an item for elections, but
Okay,
this is
then
the
I'll leave
time.
it for that.
This is the time. Go
This
ahead.
is the time.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're gonna be, elections are up this year. I'm gonna be retiring from the vice chair. So that position's gonna be open. I know there's one party, Mike Cook, but anybody else who might be interested can apply for it too, which is good.
Mike Panett. He meant Mike Panett.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It was Mike Panett. Anecdote there.
He's like, "You."
The other Mike,
The other Mike.
the other Mike.
And you didn't say a word, I love it.
Nobody ties that real big.
This is how it happens.
This is how it happens. I was like, oh, okay, Mike, you're gonna. No, so anybody.
So it's Panett, hold on.
Panett is interested.
Correct.
And he is not here tonight because he's off on a business meeting. But anybody else who is interested in stepping up either into a council role or into an executive board role, which at this point, the vice chair is open. Please let us know, and a little later in the agenda, we'll be talking about an abbreviated election cycle to fill these roles and to confirm the status of the rest of the board members, the executive board members. Anything else, Ed, from you?
Not at this time.
All right. Partner reports, Chief Witt, I reached out to him.
Sorry.
Don't see anybody.
Right. That he would have a standing agenda spot. I have not heard back from him. Deputy Bear spoke at the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council, and he talked about the Code Red and the migration to this RAVE software. So that is all he had to report. El Dorado County Fire Safe Council, Kim.
Well, you pretty much covered most of it. We are going to be having a few program presentations throughout the rest of the year. Coming up in July, Lori Page will be presenting on animal rescue. So that'll be recorded and available on the website. So we can certainly access that if we want to do that and see that program. I think the other biggest piece is on outreach. The big focus this week has been the El Dorado County Fair, which starts tomorrow. And so we've been fortunate that with the El Dorado County Office of Wildfire Preparedness, along with the partners, we have 6 booths at the fair. That includes the Forest Service, CAL FIRE, the Resource Conservation District, the Fire Safe Councils, the fire chiefs, and the county. So they're all together in one spot, very well represented. First opportunity I think we've had for all of us to be together in one place. So that's kind of really sending a strong message about where we're at with trying to cooperate and get some things done together. So stop by the fair, that'll all be out there. And then, of course, just I think we talked about it. I lose track of which meetings, but of course, the overall approval of grants. We may have talked about it at this meeting, but there were 3 grants approved for El Dorado County through the Fire Safe Council from CAL FIRE, totaling about $4 million. And those were in the climate investment grants. So the one was the $2 million grant that our folks worked on here. You all did with our sister Fire Safe Councils. There's a hazard tree removal grant that was approved for $1.1 million that will be eligible for folks basically from Omo Ranch to Pollock Pines for hazard tree, and then roadside fuels production grant for the Divide area. So a huge win for El Dorado County. On top of that, a forest health grant was approved a month ago, area, Georgetown and Garden Valley for almost $4 million. So El County Fire Safe received almost $10 million in the last 2 months from CAL FIRE grants alone. So huge, that over the next several months, the contracts will be signed for those grants and then the actual work on the ground or at least the initiation of the work on the ground can happen. The Resource Conservation District is going to manage the projects for the Fire Safe Council. So a lot of good work there. We're trying really hard with the Defensible Space program for seniors, veterans, and low income. The goal long-term is to bring that program funding level up. What's been happening is it started off as a $5,000 one-time grant. We serviced maybe 12 seniors and veterans, and then the program shut down. Over the last several years, it's maybe received a few thousand more dollars. Well, this year, between putting Title III monies and PG&E, we've been able to fund it at over $200,000. But even with that, it's only been about 120 jobs. And the program, it opens, and then within a week it has closed because basically all the money's been allocated. So there's a huge demand for defensible space for seniors, veterans, and low income. And so we're going to continue to look for opportunities to find more funding for that program. Because, as Mike and Wendy and the team are out helping folks with defensible space evaluations, along with everyone else in the county, and the fire agencies doing inspections, it's generating a workload and a need by those folks that can't afford to get done. So we want to have some tools you all can share back out with them. So we're going to be spending more time trying to better fund that program. But companion to that, of course, is the chipping program, which is well funded, over $1.2 million in that program. It'll continue well into next year. And I don't remember the number of jobs, but it is the chipping program is well underway and happening. And so it's still a valuable resource. So refer people to the website, the El Dorado County Fire website, if they want to have the free chipping done. And I think really, Janet, that's probably it for now.
Do I see Omo Ranch on?
I saw Shiloh there.
There she is. Shyla? You're muted, I think.
Okay, I'm just going to mention two things. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to mention two things. The first one is that we had our chipper day on June 11th. It was successful. And the second thing is we're working on getting water tanks up at Omo Ranch. And we're in the process of getting the last of the $5,000 that we need. And the goal is to have that up hopefully this summer. And aside from that, I have been sick and I have not functioned a whole lot. I just got out of the hospital, so that's all I'm going to say.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you are feeling better soon, but thank you for coming on this evening.
You're welcome.
No one from Grizzly Flats. Sand Ridge is reforming their Fire Safe Council. They never ended or stopped being the Fire Safe Council, but their board kind of disappeared on them. So they have a new chairperson to their board. Her name is Elizabeth, and I can't think of her last name, but she's awesome. Stendoven. Yeah, she's really a nice lady. Her meetings are also tonight, so she will never attend our meetings, but she's going to work on making sure somebody that we coordinate back and forth. I have provided her with lots of information from our Fire Safe Council so that she can set up her. She was interested in the FireWise designation, and so I sent her our FireWise document, our evaluation of our Fire Safe Council, so she could use that. So she and I will continue to connect up in the mornings, and I'll report back to you on her activities. Finally, today, Ken and I went over and we met with the Amador County Fire Safe Council. They have been reaching out and asking for us to come and meet with them. So we went to their Fire Safe Council meeting today. They also were very successful in some of their CAL FIRE grants, and particularly they did get a grant here again for River Pines. It's their second grant. They're going to be doing another shaded fuel break in and around River Pines. I don't have the details of what that grant will cover, but they were very excited about that and many others. So they, it was a good connection, and it's something that we'll try and continue to reach out to them and see what we can do cross-boundary and work in collaboration, so that, because we do have a shared interest right there along the river. So that was Amador County Fire Safe Council. So moving on to unfinished business, Title III funds in the Green Waste Day. I am very pleased with how the Green Waste Day went. We had two 40-yard green waste dumpsters. We had 57 vehicles, trailers and cars go through. Hargo's chipping, Hargo's land management now, were there and chipped all the material that came through and loaded it into the dumpsters for us. We filled probably 1 3/4 of those dumpsters, so it was a good amount of material that went through that. So hugely excited. 57 units of material is a lot of material, and so really happy with how that went for kind of our first foray out into project land in terms of doing a Green Waste Day. And we weren't the only ones doing it that day, so the fact that we had 57, that means somebody else also had some, and as Shyla said, they did one, and I think there was another fire safe council on the same day that had a chipping green waste type of day. So really good information. Mike Cook was there with his folks, who made contact with every vehicle who went through and dropped material off. Do we have numbers of people who signed up?
Well, we had 9 people that volunteered to have their properties evaluated. We talked to them. We didn't have very many of them that said no. I mean, we had 57, I think you said 57 that came through, but a lot of them were doubles, triples.
Yep.
We had one guy that came through, I think 7 or 8 times.
Did he?
He was right across the street. So I mean, he missed that. We challenged him to at least get one more in. I think he had 10 minutes to spare on that
Well,
last load.
this other guy over here brought 2 loads.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, I thought that project just went 100% positive. I mean,
yeah.
We, everybody seemed to have fun as they came through, everybody was smiles. And like I said, Hargos did a masterful
Amazing
job.
job.
They worked and they just did not stop. I mean, we had a lull every once in a while, and then they were over replenishing, feeding,
Sweeping.
sweeping, and it just seemed like they didn't stop. So
And
a
lemonade.
real good.
And yes,
real
and
good people.
they had a lemonade sale there, so.
Yeah, they did. They had their kids came out there and had a lemonade sale. So yeah, but we have met a lot of nice people that came through there, and they were really super happy to have that as a program. I think we need to do it again.
Yeah.
I think it only promotes cleaner properties out there. So what's the next one? So I mean.
So Nakona, Hargo is on, and Nakona, we just want to thank you and Aaron for donating your time and your equipment to our event. We could not have done it without you guys.
Absolutely.
It would not have worked without the effort that you guys put on.
Absolutely
So
wonderful.
kudos to you guys for sharing and supporting your community.
It's a community we grew up in, so we're glad we can give back,
We can't thank you enough, so thanks so much for everything you did, and I'm sorry your kids are cute as a bug. To my knowledge, well, let me ask Aaron, if you come back, bring your picture back. Is there anything different if we did it again in the future? Is there anything different you would ask of us?
I can't think of anything. I mean, like you said, I thought it went really well, and I mean, I can't think of any way it could have went any better. maybe a little more heads up on the kind of material they bring, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna matter because you can educate people so much, you know, so.
Yep.
I thought it worked, I thought everything went really smooth, like the stuff we couldn't chip, we threw it in there and everything fit, so it's not too much bad things you could say, you know?
Nope, that's perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys.
We did have a lot of folks brought the paper stuff in paper bags, and we just dumped the whole paper bag of material in. That was awesome. To my knowledge, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, we had 0 go bag questionnaires.
No, we had 3.
Did we have 3?
We had 3, so we had 3 winners.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. So we can go through and talk about those, and
I got them right here, so I mean, yeah, we
Okay.
can get them, yeah.
Awesome,
Get
'cause
them back.
before I left, there was none, so that's exciting to me that there was somebody who actually did drop some off.
We have 3, we got 3 winners.
Excellent. Excellent.
Congratulations.
That worked out.
Excellent. So that is something I think, I mean, other than getting, the flyers made up and getting them out, I think we were a little bit late in that process, but I think now that we have one in the bag that we can modify for any future event, I think that was for me, the most stressful part was the whole getting the mailers out. El Dorado County Waste Disposal, they were awesome to work with. Came, delivered, picked it up, and between them and Cargos, I came Monday to pick up any mess, and there was none. So, I always like to leave things cleaner than we found it, and it was perfect.
So John in the chat was asking about, or throwing out the idea of an article in the Mountain Democrat.
I got awesome.
I know we took pictures kind of anticipating that.
Those are
so-
good pictures, yeah. So, yes, I think that's a great idea. Which, by the way, John, happy anniversary to you and Mary. So we know that you're out celebrating your anniversary this weekend.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, exciting event. I'm super happy with how it turned out. All good.
I apologize for being late, everybody, and yeah, thank you very much for getting that all set up. That was great, and yeah, Argo and his team were really good to work with. And, I had fun out there, so.
It was entertaining. It was a great event. So I'm very happy with it. As Ken mentioned, the South County CAL FIRE grant was approved. We will be, that was the grant that is a coordinated effort between Oma Ranch and Diamond Springs and a fourth fire safe, Oak Hill, for a couple of shaded fuel breaks, one in Outingdale, as I understand, and then some roadside clearance on primary and some secondary roads. So the area to be treated was identified in the grant, so we will be starting to coordinate that effort. Lester, who wrote the grant, has reached out to have an initial meeting. It will be managed by the RCD, so that's helpful to have them manage the grant effort for us. But it will start taking some work on our part to reach out and get the information out and meet with our community members about right of entry agreements. So that's probably the next focus that we need to be thinking about, is how to reach out to our community about right of entry agreements, what it means, what it will do, why we want them, why we have to have them to complete this project. So more to come on that. The grant, although it's been awarded, it will take the next 90 days to get the contract signed. So you're not going to be looking for work until probably sometime next year. But as we go through this fall, the preliminary reach out and starting the discussions with our community members is going to be where the RCD is really going to need our fire safety council's help. So.
And this is for the Outingdale project?
Outingdale has a shaded fuel break, and then it is fuel reduction on roadways, on primary and secondary roadways throughout part of the Fair Play and on Mount Auburn Road.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, it's the grant that Mike Bennett wrote.
Okay, great.
So good news there, really excited. That is a $2 million grant. So that's really awesome. That is the South County grant. Activity reports, Jane is not here. She is also celebrating her anniversary and is out of state. But I did ask for a website update, and so Gary's
Do
here.
we have an internet connection? I guess we do.
Yes,
But I mean, you can pull up the website if you want to and talk about it that way. To the two questions, and I apologize, I didn't look up the second one. The first one was how much is the website being used? And the base number that I was able to get from our provider, Streamline, is that we get about, it varies quite a bit, but say around 5,000 page views per month. And if you break that down, that could be like maybe averaging 150 a day. And that's not a lot of users, maybe 10 or 15 averaging a day. But sorry, I didn't look up, or I'm not even sure I have a way to look up what
pages they're
what
looking at.
pages are the most clicked on. Obviously, the home page would be first one on the list, but I'm not
I
sure.
keep going to the timesheet page.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'll try to research that a little bit more, but
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to the council to know what they're looking at.
yeah, yeah.
What, and maybe what we need to enhance.
My guess is they're probably clicking on the links that show up on the front page, like the carousel, which has changed a lot, but so there, yeah, I really don't have too much information about which site, which pages they like the best. Other than obviously the top one. I noticed a couple people mentioned the inability of images to fit inside that carousel at the top, and I have to apologize. I'm not much of an image editor. I did find out some more information from our provider how to do that, but again, I'm not. That's not my forte. So if anybody's a great image editor for digital stuff, I could use some help, but I'll try to improve on that one. Other than that, any questions?
Yeah, Gary, can you add to the timesheet that's on there at the very bottom, preferably like in red, so it kind of stands out, to be mailed to our post office box?
Sure, edits are easy. I'm not sure where it used to be on the carousel, but now it's probably on one of those drop-down menus at the top. Look at maybe under who we are or newsletters
Who we are.
or maybe under who we are.
Timesheets, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, little edits like that are simple.
Yeah, so on the timesheet itself, it would be mailed to our post office box.
Of course. Are you wanting me to make that note, or you're gonna
Yes,
send that information to me?
I could send it to you or
That
either
would be
way.
best, if you see, tell me exactly what you want it to read.
Okay, so are we able to go on there and fill out a time sheet online yet? Okay, so that's maybe in the future though.
That's what Ed was working on.
I was looking into that, seeing how we could do that.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Any other
So any
questions?
other comments from
Yeah,
the council?
I should say, I'm the only one that accesses the site, but we can add users. So if you had some people who are interested in, I don't know, uploading particular, or just accessing certain pages, that can be, excuse me.
Yeah, the sun's out your eyes.
Thank you.
Some people, other people can access the site too, but everybody's so busy that.
Well,
And that,
I kind of like having this, it's for me, it's good to have a single point of contact, so
Yeah,
we're not
sure.
duplicating effort
Right.
and one person making a change and then me overriding it. I think it's better for a single
That's awesome.
point.
So I'm glad that, make editorial changes as needed, but the more exact that you can tell me, the better off it's gonna work.
And by the way, Gary, thank you for everything you've been doing.
Absolutely.
Well, fortunately, I like that stuff, even though it doesn't always work the way you want. Spend hours trying to make a picture bigger and smaller and edited, and there's so many variations that, but fortunately, I enjoy that kind of frustration. That was.
Many people- Some of us do not like.
So I think it would be good for folks to kind of peruse the website, take a look at it, make sure that everything on it is accurate from your standpoint. I mean.
There's a
because-
lot of stuff on there, and some of it gets old, as you can imagine.
Yes.
It gets old as soon as you put it up there.
Yeah, so if there's stuff that needs to come off, if you want to send that to me, if there's stuff that you think needs to be changed, especially Mike in your area, you probably got some stuff that needs to go up, or I think it would be good to, it's a good time for us to take a look at it and make sure that everything on it is current. And if there's something that is not current, that we pull it off. Because there's gonna be more stuff coming. We probably are going to want to have a grants page on it. With this grant coming, we're gonna want a focused place for folks to be able to.
And I'm also open to organizational changes. If you think something's hard to find, it's too many menus or whatever, I'm very open to advice on that. As long as they're here, I was gonna ask, there's an info at AFFSC that I believe the website, when they get there, I don't know exactly where it is, but people can contact us on the website.
Yes, and it comes
You
to
get
me,
those?
yes, I
And you
do.
have been, right?
Yes.
I noticed there's a list of them on there, like even recently, vendors are looking for
Yes.
work and.
So I end up responding to them out of my personal email, because it comes to my
Okay.
personal email.
Yeah,
And so I end up responding back through my personal email. This is where I was trying to get us the variety of emails for the chair. And where I struggled with that is, and I struggled with it in my personal email, is, we have a list of folks that I send email out to,
Mhm.
but it's 250 emails long.
Okay.
And so I couldn't do more than 10 at a time or something.
okay, so there, interestingly, along those lines, the website company Streamline does have a feature that I think we pay more for. Not the name, Trust or Intune or something, but it allows you to turn a website into a newsletter and send it out to a bunch of people, or, turn the page into.
Yeah.
So it's, and also, we have a MailChimp account, which is designed for the same thing. We just, in the past, Jane had her own system that it really worked well with, so it didn't involve that, but some people sign up for the newsletter from the website, and there's a little disconnect, because I can get that information, but I don't know anybody else does. Unless I recently,
Yeah,
I
you did.
sent you something about it, and there's not a lot of activity on it, but we shouldn't leave loose ends. So that's just one thing.
So people would sign up for the newsletter. Gary put it together, and he uploaded it to our cloud.
Yeah. So maybe
Only
that
I don't think
address-
anybody knew that it was going there. So I now know that it's there. I'm gonna go back and reconcile it with the list that I send out. But I'm still looking for a way to send out a mass email.
Yeah, and maybe the Streamline company would, and maybe MailChimp would, but it needs, there's a learning curve.
Yep.
And I think that stopped a lot of people from stepping up and maybe doing that. If it was point and click, it might be a different story, but it's a learning curve for me too. And, that can be discouraging.
So,
But there are some paths toward that.
So for the board, for the council, please take a look at the website. If there's things that need to come off, please let me know. If there's things that need, if the link's broken, if there's something that needs an updated link, let me know. And we will, I figure it's better to consolidate it and keep you on the list.
Probably, yeah, and maybe I could go the other way around too, is I could say, well, this page looks pretty old, have there been some
Mhm.
changes since it was first put up?
Any other thoughts on the
Can I say
website?
one other thing?
Yes, sir.
If
Absolutely.
somebody has good pictures, I'm always looking for ones, and eventually maybe I'll learn how to actually edit them. But I think pictures make pages more interesting.
Absolutely.
So if you have good, high quality pictures from events,
We should send you some from the Greenway.
Yes.
yeah, and we can figure out some way to do that exchange. Janet and I had a little trouble getting that huge video from today's recording transferred, but eventually we did. And so now there's actually, I started an account, I think it's Occam Fairplay FSC @gmail.com. So we have a YouTube channel from that address, so we can upload as many videos as we want and use that address.
So that is something else I should share is the last meeting was recorded and has been uploaded to the website. We probably should make sure that where it is up there.
It's on the carousel. I wanted people to be able to see themselves.
And that was the meeting that we had the animal rescue discussion, and I have more information for the animal rescue stuff to send you.
So if there's any webinars or anything, they can be recorded and put up there too.
And if we decide we're going to record our meetings, this will be the third one that's recorded. Maybe I can get them downloaded, get them transferred to you, and then you can
It's-
upload them to the website.
It's set up now. It shouldn't be too hard.
Perfect. So anybody who wants to go back and look at it, who, friends and neighbors of yours who haven't joined us for our meetings, they can go online and catch up on some of the information. That's awesome. Any other comments on the website? Thoughts?
Yeah. We'll get you, could you get your changes if we see things, you got me.
But if you do have the opportunity to figure out where folks are going.
Sure,
That would be,
sure.
I think that would be
I'll try to-
helpful to know.
Again, the learning curve.
Yep.
And stuff.
That's
I'll see
awesome.
what I can do.
Thank you. New business. So Ed has announced that he is retiring from his position as vice chair, not from the council. He'll continue to be a council member. But that leaves the vice chair position open. And your chair was neglectful in actually reading what the bylaws said and didn't recognize that she had to throw an election by July 1st.
Hold is a better term than throw an election.
Oh, I guess, hold the election, you're right. Sorry, words mean things.
Well, that was like when I told someone they're gonna drop my tile. And they actually did.
Oh, let's not do that. Let's not do that. So the bylaws have a process in them for running elections. The council members are council members until they either resign or are removed. There is no election required, no annual election required for a council member. The board member, which is the member at large, the chair, the vice chair, the second vice chair, if there were to be one, the treasurer and the secretary are annual elections, annual renewals to the position. So
At large.
In at large,
yeah. So I drafted and sent out to the council, since we are now in the third week of June, a bifurcated, a shortened process for holding an election. To get the board members' election process done by the 1st of July. And Ken, can you pull that document up? In the council meeting announcement that I sent out on Monday to our community at large, I did ask for folks who are interested in joining our council to please let me know that we are always interested in additional council members. And that if folks were interested, they could email me at the info@amfsc.org, and we would consider their their counsel.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't read it.
Still, are you still live?
Yeah.
Okay, so however, for the 2022 board, executive board process, there's certain steps that we have to go through. One is to name an election committee. The election committee, I prefer not to be any of the members who are running again, so that it is independent of the board members who are running. So I am looking for 2 council members who are willing to be the election committee. The election committee, it's not a very difficult process that they have to manage. It is sending out a couple of emails. The first one is to ensure that the current board members, besides Ed, wish to remain on the board. If not, it's announcing that what the vacancies are to the rest of the council and our community. I think we should open it up. So it's the 2 emails. It's getting back who is interested, and in a short process, I think we could do that. If I can get folks who agree to become the election committee, I think we could get the email out seeking interest by Monday with, it's a terrible error that I made on the date process there. Send the email on by Monday and get it back by Wednesday, June 19th. I don't think that's going to be, since June 20th is Monday, June 19th is 2 days later on this email. But by Wednesday, get the email back from folks saying whether they're interested or not. We already know we have one person interested, but everybody who's interested should have an opportunity to be on the ballot. By Friday, distribute, maybe it's the Monday date that's wrong. By Friday.
It's gonna get fixed here pretty quick.
By Friday, distribute the ballot to the council for the executive board members, for the council to consider. And if the council, we're a small council, everybody has a couple of minutes that they can do their voting and have that back by Monday, June 27th by close of business. And then we can hold a special council meeting via Zoom to go over the election results on June 30th and have the new board in place by July 1. So, yeah, 'cause that's,
It's a PDF.
yeah, it's on the thing, but we can fix that. June 22nd is Wednesday?
Correct.
Perfect. And then Friday is June 24th, which is the other correction?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so my proposal out to the council members is making the two connections that Wednesday is June 22nd and Friday is June 24th and not the 19th and the 21st. What does the council think of a shortened election process as proposed?
I like it.
How about our folks online, on Zoom?
Thumbs up from John, thumbs up from Sandy. And those are our members, so yeah.
Excellent. So my question to the council is exempting the board members themselves. Do I have 2 folks who would be willing to run the election? And Ed, I thought you might be a good person to run the election. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I can run it, yes.
Like your last act.
Your final act, since you're not running,
I didn't think that as a board member, but, yeah,
since you're not rerunning.
Running. You're good.
okay,
So I'll help you.
okay.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
Who was that?
Greg. All right, so we have named our election committee, so you can reset the dates at your leisure.
I can do it, right?
You can do it right. You can move them earlier if you want to get on it earlier, however the two of you wish to do it. And then if you would reach out to everybody and solicit, make sure that the current members are interested. I will save you the email to me. I'm happy to retain for another year this position.
Okay.
Yep, likewise, I'll stay at large.
You'll be at large.
Make it easy for you.
I'll stay because I just got here.
Well, question, she said.
We haven't chased her off yet.
Give me time to get your name right.
But that doesn't mean that somebody who's interested in this position should run for it. So just because we are happy to stay doesn't mean that somebody else shouldn't take the opportunity to run if they so choose. So
True.
I will turn it over to you guys, and when you are ready for the special board meeting at the end of the month, let me know and I will schedule the special board meeting. So folks, just keep in mind that you'll be hearing from me towards the end of the month.
And that's the one that is correct. It's June 30th.
Yes, I agree. Well, yes, I picked the last day of the month.
Okay, so June 30th is the
June
special.
30th
Put that on
is
the
the-
calendar now.
The special board meeting, because Janet can't figure
Thursday,
out
June 30th,
dates.
yes. You must have been looking at July.
I
So is that
was,
gonna be at 7 o'clock as well?
yeah, probably, whatever works for everybody.
It's all via Zoom though.
It's all via Zoom, yeah. That will be a Zoom meeting for you to go over the results. And I want to thank everybody for your flexibility on this one. I totally did not put this all together, and now I have, and trying to get it done. So thank you to the council for being patient with me.
You've been great, I'm just so happy that we got 2 projects done in the last, 3-4 months? I mean, so
That's a
we're
lot.
rocking and rolling now.
And a huge grant coming that we're gonna be busy on, so.
The grant coming, you got the resilience, the WC, I'm just gonna misspeak on all the terms and everything, but we've got stuff rolling in action, so, I'm really happy, because I was like very frustrated for the first couple of years. I don't think there's any, I think everybody knew that.
Well,
Like,
and-
let's get out there and do stuff for
And
God's
things,
sake.
and things are,
You would have the
I
same.
mean, things are becoming available, right? That weren't available to us early on. I mean, we're fortunate that the Greenway State came because the parent organization offered up money to the 5 state councils. We couldn't have put that on without the money that the parent organization gave to us. We've been trying to get the project at the school for quite a while. And I think we just finally got to a point where everybody could agree on it. So I'm really happy that happened. So the next item in new business is looking at, knowing that we have the grant coming up and that we're gonna be spending a lot of time on that. Looking at another possible fuel reduction program, and I don't know whether it'll be this fall or next spring, timing wise, and where that might be. The difficult,
Greenways Day, or
well, both.
Okay.
So we have money for a Greenway, that we could probably put on another Greenway Day. Whether we do it this fall, or we do something next spring, or we spend the money on something like this booklet, which, let's move this down this way. Sorry. Sorry, Kim. I'm open to whatever the council would like to do, but that's kind of a cool book as well. And I don't know how much it costs to put that together. But projects, doing a project, I mean, it's, projects are good to do in the area. The concern that the concern that we have, the thing we need to work through is doing a project on private property or doing a project on public property. The school was really easy to do it on because it is a public property. Doing a project on private property presents a number of other issues in terms of, can we get insurance, which I was supposed to find out, and Greg, I didn't get there with the project that we were doing, I just didn't get back to the county to find out. So we need to think about where we might do a project. I think it's better for us to do it on public property rather than private property at this point in time until we work through all those issues. But I'm happy to take suggestions for what that might be.
So we're also rethinking here.
How many public places did we have?
The
Yeah.
school. There was a second project at the school that they wanted back on the cross-country track.
Yeah, that's, you know, a lot of work. It's gonna be something where we wouldn't need like the Cal Fire cadets or something. I mean, it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of hazard trees, there's hangers. So, you know, probably those all cleared out and then going with the ground crew and taking down big projects.
So that's a funding issue.
Yeah, I mean, unless you got the conservation corps, so I think he said he had like 20 guys or something, 20 cadets, but then it is a funding issue because you have to clear out the hazard trees first, I think. So, you know, plus we did a lot of work for them.
Mhm.
They're really happy. I mean, it's a great place to refer, you know, all bells and whistles, but you know, I'm thinking I would like for us maybe to identify all the places, potential places, and like you said, how many
I don't even
places
know.
are there? You know, and I think that was one of the reasons why we like the place that we chose, plus there's a post office there and a lot of infrastructure.
So that is it, private property. The ground is private property, because I did get their approval to do the chipping.
Oh,
program.
that whole
That whole thing is private property.
Well, that is interesting. What about this? Is this
This is county property.
county property?
Does that mean public?
It's public. The county, it's a county park.
That's it.
So insurance would probably go through pretty easily.
But you'd have to get county approval to do a project here, so
They probably. go for it, I think. What do you
we
think?
have to identify.
It's just a process you gotta go through, I think.
Well, and so can I just maybe recommend to the group that we don't necessarily have to decide tonight, but maybe with this in mind, could we maybe all give some thought to places that we see
Yeah.
and other opportunities? And for me, it's just about what are we trying to accomplish and what's the biggest benefit to the public, not just the single landowner that might be getting benefit from it. If, you know, is there, are we doing a project that helps with ingress and egress? Is it helping with evacuation? You know, so I mean, giving some thought to, or protecting critical infrastructure. So I mean, it's just things like that to give some thought to that would be beneficial and that are reasonable that we think we can accomplish.
Well, and are there, and this is just an odd thought, are there community associations that we can help? Where maybe they're doing a road project in their community. Is there something maybe we can help with and as donate our effort to?
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah, and then the other thing is, the school rethought in this place as well as possible evacuation sites. So that's another thing to add into, but yeah, it would be good to get like an email for us all to think about, like what you just said, Ken, like all the critical infrastructure, you know, and then all the people who would benefit. And then if we could also identify potential places. So we can all think about this for a little while and make sure our work goes for the best bang for the buck.
Well, we haven't had a lot of participation from Outingdale in recent years. We know, obviously, that's been sort of number one on the radar for concern based on where it's located. And so I don't know, is there outreach to Outingdale community to see, hey, folks might be interested? I'm just throwing this out there, not saying, but is there interest in if they help organize getting some right of entry, or how do we want to organize? Is there something, they have a water supply system in there that would need protection, maybe there's some critical pieces. If we think outside maybe some of the areas where we're talking now, I think there might be some other potential project ideas.
So is there like the list of things we have to do for this grant? I mean,
Well, the grant's separate. So this is separate from the grant. This is just something that we, as the Fire Safety Council, doing a field project to support our community like we did at the school. So then I'm going to leave this on the agenda. I'll move it to unfinished business for next time. If the council members have ideas, please forward those up and I will keep a list and come back and to talk about it at the next council meeting.
Yeah, let's.
Until we come up with an idea. Let's just keep this as an open discussion.
Yeah, if we get, that'll be an email that we can all have an open discussion on, something like that.
Or if you send them to me, I'll come with the list.
Okay.
I'll come with the list and for the next meeting.
Oh, because I think it might be nice for us to like,
Well, the open email is to the council members. It's the whole council member list if you want to do it that way.
I mean, that would be my vote, that way, just so we can, because I think otherwise, there's gonna be a lot of ideas, hopefully. And then, I don't know that we could zero in on it in one council meeting, like we might want to think about it during the
No,
month.
I'm not sure that we'll have an answer at the next council meeting.
It'll be an open
Yeah, but-
ongoing
It'll be an
thing.
open ongoing thing because we're certainly not going to do anything over the course of the summer. Because it's, weather and fuels and, I wouldn't propose doing anything until more fall or next spring. Just because of the fire.
So I think for ease of it, so I think I'm comfortable with Janet, you're willing to receive them. Let's keep a running list and we'll keep revisiting it with the group. So everybody can see the list periodically and we can add to it.
I can put it out with each council.
Yeah, and then we're all seeing it and keep it.
Yep. All right, any other comments from any other council member?
EVM work. So the work PG&E is currently conducting the Enhanced Vegetation Management Program. Is that, I'm wondering, like, what other people's thoughts are on it, how it's going for them, things like that. It's pretty serious work.
Any comments?
Are these the tree guys that are coming
Yeah.
in?
Yes.
I've met them a couple times this year. They marked some trees and left and I never heard back.
Okay, so it's not happening in your location.
But I'm seeing it happening in other locations. If you go to what is that, Jaybird, Jaybird Lane, which is past.
You mean actual cutting down trees? Is what you're wondering about?
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, how is it going for people on their properties?
They're doing a pretty good job. They're cleaning up what they're messing up, so.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
if you tell them to take it,
That's
they will
good.
take it.
That's a good thing.
They're working in our area pretty hard over there in Showcase Ranches. They're on the old trail right now, working the side streets, and they've got their heavy machinery out there, and they're cutting and picking up what they're leaving, if you ask them to. If they're wanting to cut into firewood grounds, they'll cut it into the firewood grounds and leave it there for you.
No questions asked that day.
Whatever you want them to do. I don't know about that day, but
That's
they'll
nice.
do it in a timely manner. On my property, it took them probably 3 weeks to get the tree out of there, but I had a big digger that went down, they took down, but it seems to me that the property across the street there, when they're down those trees, it's within a week, they're taking them up out of there, so.
Oh, good.
But they've got some bigger machinery in there now, so. They're doing a lot of work, but it's really up to the property owner, and you don't have to have your tree taken down either. So if they come out and they mark a tree for trimming, and you say no, that tree's gonna stay, that tree will have to stay.
Can you look at that guy?
So-
That guy right there.
So did that answer
If
your
you've got
question?
a heritage oak on your property and you really like that heritage oak, they don't have to cut it down if you don't want them to. So, but the idea is if you've got a nice black oak on your tree and it's gotta go and you're afraid of it going down on a power line
Yeah,
and you like that black oak, you tell them to cut it into firewood rounds and you're gonna save your chainsaw. They'll cut it up into firewood rounds for you and all you gotta do is go split and there you got firewood, so. They're very attentive for your needs out there. And they'll do almost anything you ask, and they do a pretty good job of cleaning up. Not as good as Hargo did, but they do a pretty good job of cleaning up.
They took down 3 trees on my property, and this double cedar was right where I had a drip system in my septic tank line, the top tank. And they damaged the drip system and the septic tank. We came back the next day, replumbed it, fixed the drip system.
Yeah.
Did everything I asked.
Yeah.
3 days, they took 3 trees, left me the wood I wanted, took the big wood I didn't want, cleaned up the brush, and out you go. Excellent job. Funny thing is, it all depends on which company comes out to do the work.
There are several different companies.
Yeah, because I had one company that wanted to come out and trim the cedar, and I said, this is, the cedar has got to come out at PG&E out, they know it's an issue, and we're just gonna trim it. I said, I refuse to let you trim the tree.
Yeah.
So 3 days after they cut the tree down, I get a phone call from that company, I think it was ACRT.
Yeah.
They said, we want to talk to you about trimming that cedar. I said, the tree's gone. He says, what do you mean the tree's gone? I said, you know, one of the companies came, and I don't remember which one it was now, it was 4 letters, began with a T, I think. He says, the tree is gone. I said, the tree is gone. They removed the tree. He says, do you mind if I come out and take a look?
Yeah.
I said, have at it. So he came out, he drove up, he walked up the driveway, I pointed at the stump and I said, they trimmed it. You know, it's like they don't know, no one knows who's doing what.
Yeah.
What's the tree?
And I think that is a, you know, issue. There's a lot of folks that PG&E's hired to come out and do stuff. There's some overlap.
And the people that come out maybe aren't even from the area. and they
Right.
tell
Oh,
people
absolutely.
one thing,
Yeah.
and then
All they're getting is
and
their
they're gone,
direction.
and the next people come and we're like, no.
Yeah.
You know, and they said basically the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you refuse 3 times to have them trim a tree because you want it cut, they will eventually cut it.
And as we were told last time, if you are firm about them taking the material, if you don't want it, they will take it.
Yep.
Just be
3
nice
days
about it,
was
because
clean.
those are,
And we're talking 2 8-foot cedars and a
That's nice, yeah.
yeah.
okay?
So, yeah, good for me to hear. Personally, so I'm on Sycamore, and I think they moved all the heavy machinery from Sycamore to Old Trail. And so we've got a lot of down trees and a lot of slash build up. You know, so I'm like, hey, can we get some of that slash out of here? Because, you know, every day the trees are going down and it's getting warmer, and I want to see that slash getting out of there.
Just find the guy in the pickup truck, the guy in the white hat with the pickup truck. And they're the ones that make the decisions. You know, they'll make the decision, yeah.
Yeah, they're pulling them off. I called, one of the guys, and he was supposed to oversee this deal.
Or vegetation management with PG&E, they'll go right to the top.
I did,
Yeah.
It wasn't Matt Carpenter, but it was, someone he works with, who usually gets right to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully they'll, you know.
Oh, they'll take care of it, yeah.
Clean it up. And the other thing is, which is strange, was I got a call, so I refused 6 trees, and they probably marked like 30 or 40 or something like that. And so I got a call from someone, hey, Greg, you know, I'd like to talk to you about, you know, getting these done. And so I left a message last week, left another message this week. and haven't heard back. So, you know, it was like really good at first. They were cutting him down, getting the slash out of there in about 5 days as I was watching properties. And then it's like everybody left, but there'll be like pick up a couple of guys and we'll follow a bunch of trees, but no cleanup crews. And all the machinery's gone. And
So you're worried that everyone's abandoned that area.
Slash going in the summer. God,
Maybe they're trying to teach you a lesson on
I
answering
think
your
just-
phone. Answer your phone.
me? I always answer my
Well, I was
phone.
just
I'm
saying,
telling them.
maybe they're just
Call them,
teaching you
call
to-
them.
So I think,
Answer it the first
I think
time.
that's I think you have to continue to call them, but it sounds like they will come pick it up if
Oh, yeah.
if you can make contact.
Yeah,
So.
squeaky wheel.
Yeah, that's me, all right.
Yeah.
So moving on the agenda, item C was future fundraising. One of the things we did at the Green Waste Day was Kim built and put out a donation box, which did receive some donations, about $45, which is great, from folks who came through. So we need to continue thinking about innovative ways to come up with donation days or donation events. John is still doing address signs for us. As we saw, there was $45 in address signs that were deposited during May. And I think that's been a really terrific effort, and I want to thank John for all the time he's devoted to that on our behalf. So I only put it under new business for us to keep it in there, keep it on our mind that we need to think about future fundraising going forward. And I know that, and I'll get to you in a second, I know that Shyla has been working on the winery fundraising effort, and we will start working on that as well. Shyla, I do have that. Yeah,
I just wanted to thank Chris for making that sandwich sign, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's
in
heavy.
the box.
It is heavy.
It's not-
And for putting up the sign.
Got it.
Okay.
Nope, I don't have it. I think I have it.
Off the tree.
I probably have it.
Yes, so Chris, thank you for that, because it worked perfect for us. It was awesome. Any other comments from the council on fundraising?
I'm always looking for something. If I'd known about this gig going on down here on the 26th, I probably would have tried maybe to get something. It doesn't have to be a big issue thing if we do, you know, but I like ways and means. That's my thing. So I'll start looking into a little bit. I would rather do one large thing.
Mhm.
Get everyone to spend a day doing one thing and then, you know, calling it a fundraising done. Because a big thing takes planning. But I will work on that, look into that, and I will talk to Shyla. Is it Shyla?
Shyla?
Shyla, I will talk to Shyla about that too.
What are we talking about?
Fundraising.
Oh, this is the winery, okay.
Shyla's working on the winery one, and then
Or
just talking about what other things we might be able to come up with.
Yeah, and we should probably at every, like the school thing, I probably should have had a fundraising.
Well, every
you know,
place that we get our name out is
box
good, you know, because then people are gonna say, oh, that's that place that puts on those things, you know, that's really helpful for the community, you know what I mean?
Mhm, yeah. Yeah, but we're probably right about there, especially because, you know, like 60 people went through there
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
you know, you're
The
talking
school
about
and the school.
150 people a
Yeah.
month on the,
And there is a donation button
Internet?
on the website.
Oh, is there?
Oh,
Yeah, there
okay.
is.
I'd like
All right,
to,
moving.
Janet.
Yes, ma'am.
So June 26th, they're having West Slope, which was also PVFA, is having their music in the park. And
Yes.
at one point, they were talking about having the fire safe councils have a booth there to advertise. Now, I have donated a popcorn machine for that event. It's actually, I donated it to Indian Diggings, and then I asked Indian Diggings if we could then use it for PVFA or any other function. So that's coming up real soon. Monday was the PVFA meeting, and I was still in the hospital, so I did not attend that. But I will be happy to send you information about that event, and you could have your donation box there. It's more about, it's not a fundraiser for Fire Safe Councils. It's clearly a fundraiser for West Slope Foundation. But as far as advertising and publicity, since it's at the park, it would be a good opportunity for our Fire Safe Councils to have a booth. To advertise.
So we were interested in connecting up, Mike Cook, who is our defensible space evaluator, was interested in actually putting up a booth there. So who should he contact?
PVFA. They're the ones that are organizing it. The Pioneer Volunteer Fire Association. And
Do you have can you send me a contact info?
Absolutely.
Perfect, and I will get it, Mike, to you.
Yeah, I tried calling Shyla. I tried calling once and I left a message, but I never got a call back. So I'm hoping maybe you have a better phone number than what I got.
I'll
I called the number off of the website of the West Slope Foundation.
Okay, so
Maybe you have a better phone number than I do.
I will pass on the information, but it would be nice to do a united front, Grizzly, Ockham and Omo Ranch, and be.
Would love to have you.
Yeah, it would be, we certainly have the tents for that and the tables.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And that might help you with right of entry, and that might help you with defensible space sign up, and.
That's mainly why I would want to be there.
Absolutely. I will get that information to you, Janet.
Thank you, Shyla.
Thank you, Shyla.
Shyla, do you know what time you're gonna be there? Are you planning on being there?
Or who are you referring
She
to?
donated the popcorn machine.
Oh, okay, so you don't have a booth?
Do you, Shyla, you guys don't have a booth there yet?
My understanding is we do have a booth.
Okay,
I will confirm that, and if I have a booth for Omo Ranch, you have a booth.
awesome,
Awesome.
All righty,
perfect, thank you.
you're welcome.
So moving on to item 10, public comment. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to the council. I'm David Hardy. I live on Perry Creek Road. I've been there 42 years. I attended Omo Range Fire Safe Council meeting the last one. I also attended the Grizzly Flat. This is the third meeting. I commend you to be the community leaders making the effort to think about issues in our community important to everyone. I wish more people would make an effort to be part of the group that you represent. We have billions of dollars worth of invested winery owners who I would like to see be part of this. They have a vested interest in this community, and they should step to the council. Thank you. I only say that is because they're recruitable. They might have to be invited, but they're recruitable. Keep that in mind. I can help with the contact people of the event. The event's going to be called Music in the Park. And it's from 12 to 7. And indeed, it's a fundraiser for the West Slope Foundation, which is basically formed to revitalize and reconstruct the flat. I don't know how many people have actually gone up there. Has everyone gone up there?
I'm
Well,
gonna Parkway.
okay, well, go all the way.
Well, you gotta be careful these days.
I know, but the road is open all the way to Leland Meadows.
Oh,
And I only say that is because, you know, we read about in the paper, the fires that have devastated areas. But this is as, the magnitude is as serious. That event, which they referred to as the event, happened on the 16th of August of last year. That was when we could all see at 7:45, that pyroclastic plume up there. I only mention that is because we could have experienced that. And I'm not sure whether you guys have the names and addresses of the Annandale Army. Does anyone have?
Actually, went fishing with the guy.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Those people saved us. CAL FIRE created a fire break behind my house, my vineyards on Perry Creek Road. 1,200 feet by 100 foot wide, middle of the night. I only say that is because that was the last line, last defensive.
I saw the line up.
Yeah,
there.
it goes from Claire property to Great Mill of Grace. The other line was going to be E16. Only say that is because the guys who, the Annandale Army who worked for hours and hours, burned out a bulldozer to clear that line following the PG&E high voltage line that crosses the canyon up to Grizzly Flat Road. They amplified that to 100 feet, and I'm not sure what it was, several thousand feet. It took them 40 hours. So I'm interested in our county, our fire safety council, to identify and recognize people. Because CAL FIRE, when they came in, they backfired and saved fire from coming around, coming up the canyon, coming into the community, going into showplace, burning Kirkwood. It would have gone. So recognition of them is extremely important. I have not only the South County Alliance, which the Robin is the treasurer of the Grizzly Flat Fire Safe, but I also have Jennifer's contact number. She's a coordinator of that, and I will share those with the group.
Great. Thank you very much.
I only attended that meeting as I'm attending this meeting, and I walked away with their contact numbers, and they're real. Their emails are there. The volunteer fire department was part of it, but these people are working. And I think I was in the impression it was going to be a pan council fundraiser. That is, you could participate. Where's the airport? I wasn't clear on that, and I thought you knew more about it. Hopefully, we'll all learn from these content.
Thank you very much.
The other thing I was going to say is Grizzly Flat Fire Safe Council. It's fascinating because when you go up there and you see no trees, you see black sticks, you see the cemetery devoid of vegetation, rolling hills, earth. Some houses were saved. Some $1 million houses existed. Others, there's nothing. But their attitude is very positive. They look upon us in terms of rebuilding, resilience. They don't talk about the pain of the past. In fact, they're going to be celebrating on the 16th of August the event in that community. In addition, I wanted to mention a third concept, which I'm intensely interested in pursuing, and that is the establishment of Rocky Bar Habitat and Recreational Reserve. This is a concept to connect with the Forest Service, BLM, the stakeholders, the county, other stakeholders, for instance, the church, and other state and federal resources, to establish this preserve, which would be Rocky Bar, all the way up to Woodmore Ranch, along the river of the Consumers River. I don't know if you realize in the past, but in the 60s through the 80s, there were 4 counties, including El Dorado County, that wanted to dam. It's called the Baker's Ford Water Project. We wanted to dam the rivers down here where the old bridge is, 350-foot earthen dam, all the way across to Somerset. So that would have been dammed all the way back up to Rocky Point, 350 feet. They spent millions of dollars on this, in El Dorado County, Sacramento County, Amber County, 17 counties, for a number of years, till 1989, when it was realized that that project was impossible. So that was an attempt to destroy one of the last free-flowing rivers in California. Fire came last year, and it did a pretty good number on that watershed. I think now we're faced with restoring or establishing the concept of a preserve. And there are preserves. One of them is called the Pine Hill Preserve in the northern part of the county. It's pretty close to 5,000 acres, but there's various groups that have come together to preserve that habitat and manage. That is the concept by which I can see, and other people can see the realization of this project. So I wanted to share that concept. Basically, if you were to have a name to it, would be, think the river that heals the land. Because that area is seriously damaged by fire. And the river is still flowing. So I'd like to thank you for listening to my appeal. Yes.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
But actually, kind of more of a statement. Since you're on Ferry Creek right back here, would you like to join us as a council member?
Okay. When the council was first, and I recognize you from the old days and yourself, and forget your names, I apologize. And Ken, I have not met you, but I'd like to see you run again for.
Probably not gonna happen.
Turn the recorder off. George Turnbow, I don't know, he's got a good heart, but I think we need someone who is a little more efficient and active, who show up at our meetings and be a part of the community and be an advocate of our needs rather than a passive observer saying no. So I'd like to encourage you to run, because he ran twice. The first time he didn't make it. The second time he made it. So just be encouraged by that.
And people were turning the wrong way on roads, I heard.
Well, with the arrows,
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but they're like.
well, I think the arrows were turned right. And it was like, well, I didn't make sense, but anyway.
But it would be like a left turn and then
That's
it
right.
would turn right and people, I think they got off the road. a few times.
Okay, so I'm gonna thank you. If there are any more questions, I'd be happy to-
Thank you, and thank you for the information.
Yeah, and those are my only copies, but I'm
I can
share them if you.
I can take pictures of me, come back, how's that?
Let's pass them around because I'm gonna leave with
You
you.
want those back?
No, I do.
Okay, that's fine.
Take pictures. Anyway, thanks for your ears.
One quick question though, serious question about your vision of the preserve. So Now, there's a lot of homes in this area. Is that correct?
No, there's a few landowners, they have parcels, but they don't go down. BLM and the Forest Service are the primary owners of that property. Then we have some mining claims, we have some properties that are in that area, but this would not impact those areas. There's enough BLM land. There's probably pretty close to 4,000 acres there that exclude private property. And it would seem to me that the stakeholders would also be those individuals. It's to their benefit. Now, recreationally, it would be hiking, it would be non-motorized access. Because there's enough motorized recreation, north-south road on the federal forest land that suffices for motorized recreation. There's no hiking, there's no, spots where you would be quiet. The county owns the road. Rocky Bar is owned by the county. It's not maintained. They would be a stakeholder. They've got a bridge down there. You see the bridge. It's a beautiful bridge. It's very functional. There's a parking space at Grizzly. There's a parking space up there at Slug Gulch and Rocky Bar. So there is infrastructure there. Sierra Pacific Industries would be a stakeholder. They're interested in accessing recreation through their property to the Forest Service. So the hiking trails need to be defined. There would be biking trails also, mountain biking. That'd be another recreation. Again, it's a concept. It's just a dream.
It's interesting.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
The other preserves that you talked about, are they the ones that were established by the American River Conservancy?
Yes.
Did we get the American River Conservancy?
Yes, they would be part of, they would be a guiding group to the stakeholders. They are, they know the
They
way.
know how to do.
So that would be one of the identified groups to philosophically guide this project. Yeah. And the Pine Hill, I would encourage everybody to look for Pine Hill Preserve.
Where's that?
It's actually
Is that up to consumers?
no, it's Salmon Falls to Cameron Park.
Because I know that they have,
Pilot Hills and the Green Mountain Road.
ARC has some land on Consumers River.
Further down, and we have it down beyond Nashville also. And they're donating that back to the Native American people who didn't occupy. It's really very inspiring.
I've taken the natural discourse there, and we actually, one of our field trips was out.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So we'll get back to our agenda. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
How do you get people involved? We live in Outingdale. One of the neighbors posted on our Outingdale page that she had hired some guys in. They took out 2 loads of waste. She said, and I wrote, maybe be an inspiration to the neighborhood. Maybe everybody will remember last year that 80% of our community evacuated. Nobody else commented. 111 people saw it.
Getting public participation is difficult.
Yeah, we do property evaluations. Not a single person is lifting a rake. I can understand if you don't have the money to take a tree down. Nobody lifts a rake. Yeah,
That is the hardest part of our
we
job.
are constantly, and I'm at fault. I have not turned in a timesheet for a very long time. I work on my, but I work on my property hours pretty much every day. I've cleared behind 2 neighbors' houses on either side of me that can't do it themselves. One of them can do a little more. I said, I will happily cut things and trim things, but you have to drag the bird pile. That's the downside. How can you, 111 people saw this, not a comment. No, but not a comment, not even you've inspired me.
Well, but maybe you did.
No.
Yeah, maybe you planted the seed and it's just gonna take a little
So
while.
I think one of the things that we can look forward to is the grant, getting the fuel break in, particularly in
They
our.
were talking about bringing in goats. It was gonna cost $6,000 for 4 nights, 5 days.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
expensive.
They waited so long, and again, it only how much? And then being a naturalist, I know that there's plants down there that will kill birds. Now granted, if there's enough to eat, that maybe they wouldn't eat the plants that would kill them, but there's toxic plants down there. You know, they're allergic, they can't have vinca, they can't have curly dock.
But I think as we start seeing projects, I mean, projects beget projects in a way. People get inspired when they actually see somebody else starting work in an area. And so I think that as a start, as we work through this grant and start the shaded fuel break that's going to be around Avondale, that might be a little more motivation for people. I think that, you know, looking for opportunities for projects. We also talked heavily about if we do a second fuel reduction green waste day, we were going to target that end of our fire safe council. And so where our advertisements, our mailers this time were more focused at this end, they'll be more focused at that end next time.
We've gone door to door, up and down whole blocks. And even the president of OIC is not clear of the property.
Well, it
It's
also,
very discouraging.
it also comes to when the insurance companies come saying, knocking on their door and saying, we're canceling you, which there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
That then they want to take more of an interest. It's a reaction.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's very frustrating for residents, for the fire safe council itself. It's a small group of people who are doing a lot of work.
And it's not too late to fill out time cards for this year.
I need to because man, I've got yeah. I'm kind of keeping them, but the thing is, I'm not real computer literate. I don't own a computer. I should just bring them to the meetings.
Yeah.
You can bring it to the meeting.
I'll say one thing about that note. This year I've driven around this county, I mean, maybe less because of gas, but I've seen more people doing fuel reduction on their properties probably than ever. And I don't know if other people are seeing that as well, but there definitely seems to be more of an effort of fuel reduction for private property owners.
My experience with doing property evaluations is generally 8 times out of 10, the people that are calling you to look are the people that are actually doing it. Yeah. You don't get the people whose place looks like shit. They don't care, or they're not invested, whatever. But the people that are calling you are the people that are already on board. And when you have neighbors on all other sides of you that are not, scary. And my worry is if we go into the community and we do these wonderful things, people like things done for free.
Yes.
You know? Like I said, when I cleared my neighbor's place, I said, you need to help some. I know you have limitations and I won't charge you a penny. But you need to show initiative that this matters to you. And she did. It's just, I'm just really frustrated.
No, and we feel your frustration. But yes, I'm hoping that work begets and people get the food when they see things happen. So I'm hoping. But it's like, so here's our council meeting and it's the same people, everyone.
Even a very valid point, where are the winery owners? Where are the people that have big money in this county?
Yeah.
Where are the people with massive houses? You know, that have some money that can do something a little bit more, they can help.
Feel your pain. I don't have an answer, but I feel your pain.
And what's your name?
Sharon Jenkins. Sharon. I just looked down the road from Wendy.
Okay.
Council comment, any comments from the council? Sandy?
No, Sandy's not.
Dark.
Yeah, Sandy's there.
Sandy's there.
She's just dark. She's good. She's waving. She's good.
Yeah.
She's a little,
Oh, and-
she's a little blurry.
And Janet, just to clarify, I think John had to log off, but he said that if he can free up, he'd be willing to do signs on the 26th.
That'd be awesome. So address signs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I
great.
think that's awesome. Perfect, so if you can connect up with John.
Okay.
Perfect.
I gotta do it anyway. She said he was gonna build some, those tiki signs like they had out there on the.
Perfect.
Works.
So for good of the order, the next board meeting is July 6th, assuming everybody's back from their July 4th holidays. The next council meeting will be a hybrid meeting, again, like this one, on July 20th. And we will be having the special council meeting on June 30th, the day before. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you.